If I didn't tell you, you might just think it was a DSLR or micro DSLR camera footage. But what if I tell you it was shot on iPhone 12 Pro Max? Would you believe it? Since the introduction of the smartphone, the biggest improvement is its camera function. In addition to the bigger screen and faster hardware performance, the portability and HD capability of the smartphone camera has caused more and more people to put down their cameras to shoot with the smartphone. Even a heated discussion about whether the smartphone has already surpassed the traditional camera has swept the community, about which there are two main types of voices. Some people feel that the smartphone photography is getting stronger and stronger and will definitely gonna win the battle. The other group thinks that with the limited CMOS size of the smartphone, still a bit of pipe dream for it to take over. And in fact, both statements are making their points. And smartphones and digital cameras do have their pros and cons. Smartphones are light, app-rich, and which footage can be added on and uploaded from right away after shooting, super suitable for shooting short bits. Meanwhile, DSLR has higher picture quality, better depth of field, strong anti-noise capability during a low light condition, more replaceable lenses choice, and a greater expansibility. So I've been thinking about the question of whether these shortcomings can be improved or optimized with an external accessory to get the best balance between portability and picture quality. Let's start with the CMOS sensor size. Most smartphones nowadays use CMOS chips that are less than 1 inch in size. Although Sony recently released a phone with a 1 inch CMOS sensor, still, it's unlikely to be rolled out on a large scale in terms of price and popularity. And although there's not much room for sensors to be upgraded in the future due to the physical size of the phone itself. And let's take a look at the capability for night shoot. This can actually be partially optimized with an algorithm, and over which iPhone has been a great improvement over what it used to be. Latest smartphones from manufacturers like Huawei, Xiaomi, and other brands also made a big progress on camera performance in low light condition, even to a level that the image can stay sharp with not even a fuzz using handheld for a few seconds of exposure. However, because of the limited computing power of the smartphones, with tens or even hundreds of frames per second processing capacity, optimizing every frame of a video to improve the quality of the image for a smartphone is still a bit overpowered. And last, let's turn to the issue of the smartphone's weak depth of field. A stronger depth of field can bring a better emotional vibe to the image, which is the main goal that major smartphone manufacturers are constantly seeking to achieve. From the optimization of software algorithms to the depth of field camera to today's LiDAR sensors, the depth of field effect in smartphone photography has been greatly improved. In particular, the movie mode blur effect on iPhone 13 also indicates the future direction of the smartphone evolution. However, due to these effects are still calculated by software algorithms, object edge processing is still far away from ideal. This issue becomes especially obvious when with the transparent object in the shot, the frame looks utterly buggy like this. Now, the iPhone only supports this mode in the latest 13 series, and it only shoots at 1080p and 30 frames per second at most. For cameras nowadays that casually supports 4K recording, that's kinda out of the league. Okay, here I was thinking, since I could not be able to make changes on the CMOS sensor and size and algorithm, what if I start from the depth of field effect? Is there any way I can make the smartphone's depth of field look better? So, I've done some research and found that the per depth of field capability of a smartphone is directly related to the focal length as well, in addition to the small size of CMOS sensor. The focal length is referring to the distance from the optical center of the lens to the CMOS. Theoretically, with the longer focal length, the better depth of field you will get. But since the phone needs to be thin and light, using a lens with long focal is basically impossible. So in this case, I might be able to significantly improve the phone's depth of field performance if I remove the original lens and leave the CMOS exposed, then install an external lens with a long focal. I'm going to modify this iPhone 12 Pro Max that I use every day. Why not the iPhone 13? Although the iPhone 13 Pro Max's sensor is 1 to 1.5 inch in terms of CMOS size, slightly larger than the iPhone 12 Pro Max's, which is 1 to 1.78 inch, the imaging difference is not that significant. The second reason is that the 12 series now has a lot of resources in the rear camera module and the price is way less expensive. We can buy a module for testing and then assemble back the original module after so that we can switch it back for our daily uses. The third and the most important reason, poverty. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has 3 rear cameras, but which one to go with? Out of some deep consideration, I've made my call to modify this lens for portrait shooting, the 2.5 times telescopic lens. Why this one? Because the super wide angle lens and the main lens are still the most commonly used to. The blur is generally used in medium and long shot. This transformation is more in line with our daily usage habit. For sure, the image quality will get better if I go with the main lens, but it also causes inconveniences installing a wide lens instead if I want to shoot in wide angle. In the beginning, I was thinking about installing the modified DSLR lens directly onto it, but soon found cons are obvious. Firstly, is that the DSLR lens is too big for the phone, creating a less comfortable grip. After all, our goal for it is to be both lightweight and functional. Secondly is that the CMOS size of the smartphone is very tiny, considering that the image shot by the smartphone is actually multiplied by the magnification factor when a DSLR lens is fitted with a smartphone. This factor is going to be extremely high, and that is to say, an image shot by a smartphone with a 24mm DSLR lens installed can look like a DSLR camera photo with a super long lens with its focal length up to 200mm. So, after some consideration, my final call is to install a port C on it. Port C, also known as the CCTV port, mainly used in a surveillance system with a 25mm bolt diameter, 2 to 3 inch image field, and fitting right over the CMOS sensor. Many of which are extremely compact, have high capacity of imaging quality, and come with adjustable focal lengths and apertures. Therefore, using a surveillance camera lens to go with smartphone should be a fairly perfect solution in a matter of both size and picture quality. The idea was simple. I still encounter a lot of problems in the actual operation process, such as how to open the rear cover of the smartphone camera module, how to remove the lens, etc. After tons of hours of watching tutorials about how to repair smartphone lenses, finally, I successfully screwed it up, big time. I ended up in Huaqiangbei, the world's most powerful smartphone repair center, with experienced tech dudes working their magic, taunting and laughing at me for my bravery of making this mess. Finally, I got my phone back to life. And after hours of trepidation, I finally made it, successfully removed the lens. And the moment I saw that CMOS sensor exposed in front of my eye, I was so hyped. Carefully put the lens back on, close the phone, and wait for it to turn on. And boom, it's on. Looks like everything was going on the right track. Here comes an exciting moment. I opened the original camera, switched to the portrait mode. Wait, what is going on? Why is it stuck? Did I break the lens? I reopened the installation to check for a few times and ensure that the wielding has no problem. Oh snap. The problem might lie in the smart detection algorithm that comes with Apple's original camera. It might detect an anomaly in the amount of incoming light that causes the algorithm to fail, which means I need to turn to a different camera app. As luck would have it, I happen to have developed a photography app called Photo Gear with powerful functions all in one: parameter adjustment, cinematic image filter, time-lapse photography, recording in RAW format, peak focus, deformable lens support, and so on. And of course, you are welcome to download. Switch to 2.5 times lens in Photo Gear. Boom, worked. It seems that it is indeed a problem of the original camera. The portrait lens, which has been removed, still works normally. Next, we install a Port C lens in front of the portrait camera. I also designed a handy shoot system that external lens is installed on the slider, so you can install and remove the fixed lens more easily and quickly. The utility model can be quickly installed and removed by the means of a slide block when it needs to be used, thereby avoiding the tedious installation of the screw head stuff in the past. The lens I go with here is a 35mm f2 surveillance camera lens with aperture and focal length adjustment, and this is what it looks like after assembled. Here comes the most exciting moment: how well this will work after all this modification work. Let's bring it to the field and take an actual look. Can you believe it? This depth of field look is solely achieved by a smartphone. No algorithms, pure physical and optical blur effect, which means more beautiful video footage is right within reach. Although I said there are a lot of disadvantages to having a DSLR lens on your phone, the picture quality is definitely better, and I made it as well. I made a Sony Nex adapter ring, so a wide lens choice is no longer a problem. What a weird piece of work. And now let's take a look at what kind of footage we could have from this modified smartphone. You want to see how powerful the modified master cam can be? Just follow and let me know. Whether this is gonna be my next video is up to you. Okay, that's all for my video today. If you like this video, feel free to like, subscribe, repost, and add it to your collection. Much appreciated for your support. See you.